happening right now in Egypt. The country's ruling military council is calling for a swift investigation into unrest in Cairo. Clashes between Coptic Christians and security forces have turned deadly. The cabinet held an emergency meeting today ahead of the first funerals of at least 25 people who died in yesterday's violence. Riots erupted after a protest against an attack on a church. Reports of protesters in Cairo being crushed by military vehicles are furthering heightened tensions. Coptic Christians, who make up about 10% of the population, are accusing the governing military council of being too lenient on the perpetrators of a string of anti-Christian attacks. With more details on the deadly clashes, I'm joined by Betsy Heil on the line from Cairo. Betsy is a Middle East correspondent with the Pittsburgh Tribune-Review. Betsy, thanks for being with us.
You bet.
So eyewitnesses said people were deliberately shot. Betsy, they said that they were run over by military vehicles. What have you seen with your own eyes? What have you heard on the ground?
Yes, people were shot at and also they were run over. There has been video and eyewitness accounts of it would look like armored personnel carriers driving into the protesters, and I was at hospital today, which houses the morgue of 17 of the 25 dead that some were run over. It looked like they were run over. It is a very serious attack, and there was a lot of fury outside of the hospital and inside against the army specifically, and also against Egyptian state TV, which they say incited Muslims to come out and protect the army from Christian attackers, is what they said, which then had happened. Groups of Muslims came out looking for Christians to attack. So it was a clear case of incitement, and which is very, very dangerous. And people were saying they were lucky there weren't pogroms last night.
Tell us about the grievances, about the concerns, about what is really sparking this new wave of violence.
Well, it's actually not new. The Coptic minority population here, nobody actually for sure knows their number because they've never allowed for census numbers to come out about how large the community is. They've often been accused, the government under Mubarak, and of discrimination. They've had trouble getting licenses to build new places of worship. They have to go through a large amount of hoops to do that. They need like governor's approval to fix things inside their churches. They say there's discrimination in getting certain positions in universities and in hospitals and things like that. And since the revolution, we've also seen the rise of more Islamic groups who have attacked some burning churches. And so it's just been a pattern that has emerged. And the part of the problem is that nobody is ever brought to justice. In some cases, I've talked to people who were forced, after somebody cut off his ear, they were forced to have a reconciliation with their attacker. But they are never brought to justice. They are never tried in any of these cases, and there's been numerous since the revolution and attacks before that. So they're understandably quite furious at their situation.
I understand there are still some low-level clashes today between the Coptic Christians and security forces. What are you seeing today?
Today I just saw a lot of protesting Coptic Christians, and they were joined by Muslim activists protesting against the army, calling for the downfall of the army. And I did not see any clashes today. There were lots of rumors of clashes that I heard, and people were quite understandably afraid, fearing that their march from the hospital to the cathedral where the funerals were taking place, that they would be attacked. But as far as I know, there wasn't any.
All right, Betsy Heil, really appreciate you being with us as always. And as always, please do stay safe.
Thank you.